In this video, we'll learn about the common errors that typically beginners might do. Let's look to this line of code. I would like you to take a moment and think what is the problem here. And after that, I would like you to read the message that is written here. Always do that before I speak. So the issue here is the missing closing parenthesis here. As we said, we have to respect and follow the instructions and the syntax format of a language. Looking here to the this is by Charm Editor, so there are a few advantages here. The first is the syntax highlighting. The IDE here is highlighting that something is wrong here, so this is a good way for you to figure out lines that have problems. The second is the message. It seems here also the compiler give you see this like kind of an arrow. It's telling you there is some problem here. And there is a message that happened to be useful, missing parentheses in call to print. Print is a function, so we say calling a function. That's why it would say here call print. And also it's making correction here to tell you maybe you are missing this parenthesis. You find also this exit code. It say exit code 1. Exit code 0 means everything is successful. Exit code 1 means there is some problem here. Another problem here is mixing between single quote and double quote in a wrong way. You see here we started the print message with single quote, but we ended it with double quote. You either have to make it single quote, or double quote, but do not mix them in a wrong way. So be careful about that. The message here is very hard for you to understand at the moment. Now, this is a bit tricky. You would like to write something like let's learn, and then you use the single quote here, a single quote here, but it happened that the message have another single quote here. Now this is very problematic. Why? The interpreter here will find this single quote and then find another single quote, so it will think that his message is done, but after that this guy is wrong structured. It doesn't have a new single quote or anything that is valid. That's why it's a problem. So now the question is, what if I would like really to print something like that? You have several ways to do it. The first way is using an escape character. If you use the backslash a single quote here, is going to print the single quote for you as you see here. A more elegant solution is to make use of the double quote with the single quote. So you can define the biggest string that we would like to print, or the big message, with double quote, and then inside it use single quote. So you see you can normally now use single quote here, because the interpreter, when it sees this double quote, it will consider only a closing double quote for it here. So the single quote here is doing well. Let's say we would like to face the other issue. Would like to print actually a double quote. Then you have two ways. The first is, if you are starting with double quote and double quote, then do backslash double quote. This will let you print a double quote in the middle. Otherwise, and more elegant, is let your message start with single quote and end with single quote. Then any double quote in the middle doesn't matter. Overall, you should go with the way of line 4 and line 7 if you would like to print a single quote or double quote in the middle of your message. Now, what's wrong here? The wrong here is that P is capital, and the interpreter is case sensitive, so it's expecting all letters here to be lowercase, not uppercase. So that's why it will complain that it doesn't know what is this print. That's all for today. I would like you to know that we all make errors, and the target of this video is to make it shorter for you by recognizing some of the errors. Tip number 1 is code line by line. When you code line by line, after each line, try to run to make sure that your current output is good. One of the big mistakes is to write a lot of code and then try to run it to discover that you have like 6-7 errors and have a hard time to solve them. So write a line of code, run. Write another line of code, run. This way you make sure your code is growing up in a proper way. The second is Google is your friend. If you start to Google on errors, you will find that there are hundreds of other people who already met this problem. Stack Overflow is one of the very popular websites that we go to it a lot, and we find a lot of help there. So always try to do that. If you couldn't solve your problem in this way, just go to the QA form and just raise up a question. That's it.